At 16 years old, Justin Carr died of sudden cardiac arrest. Today, I sit down with his parents and talk about their journey of the heart. I hope you enjoy my conversation with Susan and Darrel Carr. Susan and Darrel, I met you 12 years ago when your son, Justin, passed away. I don't know if you remember, I was a
You
student.
came to my house.
I came to your house. I was a student at the same school he was at. I was diagnosed, and your son, this is the 12-year anniversary of his passing. Today, your son is the reason that I do what I do every day to promote awareness for heart disease. I survived for a reason. I don't know why, but here I am, and I'm using it for something in honor of your son. So I want to start by saying that.
Thank you.
That I'm grateful for you guys for showing up, because you've unfortunately suffered the worst kind of heartquake or trauma of the heart, which is Justin's sudden passing. Would you like to share that story with me?
Well, almost 12 years ago to the hour, I got a call from Justin saying he wanted to go to see this play, Hairspray, at this community college in Pasadena, and his friend Molly was coming with him. They were thespians together and loved the theater, and Justin wanted Harvard Westlake to do a play that had diversity and was fun instead of the traditional plays that they had selected. So he said, I'll see you at 5. And he said, I'm jumping in the pool with my phone, Mom. And then about 30 minutes later or so, I get a call from his best friend's mom saying something happened. I said, what are you talking about? So she says they took Justin to the hospital. She goes, do you want me to come get you? I said, no. So I jumped in my car, called Darrel, and got to the hospital. And there's all these people there. When I walked into the room, Darrel was banging the window in the wall at the hospital. And I went over to him. Before I can get to him, the doctor came to me and told me Justin died. Like, what are you talking about? I'm thinking, nick on the head, something, stitches, not death. So then I, of course, fell out. We both fell out. And then by then, the parking lot had grown with hundreds of kids from his school. And I had to go out and tell everybody that Justin died. That was a beginning with no end.
And Darrel, there's something that people don't really know about, which is called broken heart syndrome. And when you heard the news, tell us what happened with you.
I couldn't believe it. Didn't want to believe it. And I let off some steam. I put my fist through the wall. I feel so bad about that right now.
We never got a bill.
Yeah, I put more than one hole in the wall. I just let it go. I thought it was so unfair, because Justin was such a good kid. And not because he was my son or our son, but we were raising him to be and do something significant in life. And I think that he was on his way to doing it. You know the story about world peace. And 4 years old, we're sitting at the dinner table, and I said, Justin, your turn to bless the dinner. And he says, okay, Daddy. Well, I really wasn't expecting him to say that, because I wanted to have a daddy moment and say, well, just follow what Daddy says. But he knew what he wanted to say. So he blessed everybody he knew. And at the end of the blessing, he says, God help us achieve world peace. And it shocked me to hear that come out of a 4-year-old's mouth. So I looked at him and said, who am I sitting next to? Gandhi? Martin Luther King? Medgar Evers? Who is this? And I sat back in my seat in a minute and said, okay, I have somebody special on my hands. So losing him, I felt like the world lost somebody that potentially could have brought everybody together. And I really mean that. So when I lost him, I just said why, like everybody says, and I don't know what got into me, but my fist just went right through the wall. I really didn't know I had a little heart attack until they looked at me, and I guess they said I looked a little strange.
After you hit the wall.
Yeah.
And were you standing there, Susan, or were you outside?
I was, out because everybody else, all the kids and the head of the school and everybody outside, and people were just falling out. But I think I was out of body because I took on the role of control and project manage and let's make sure everybody knows each other. That's how, people said I called them. I did stuff that would not be typical, but they had him, they were watching him.
So you suffered a heart attack or broken heart syndrome.
And he stayed in the hospital 6 days.
You were in the hospital 6 days, Darrel. I did not realize that.
And they moved him from the next day, they moved him to a hospital closer to where we live. And it was a revolving door because people are like, they lost Justin, they can't lose Darrel. And I remember him saying, why didn't they take me, So yeah, it was like double whammy. But when he came out of the hospital, it was the night before Justin's funeral. And he got up there and his heart just opened up, and I didn't know the story about Justin saying world peace, and he told all the kids to go out and tweet or whatever we do. And he was the one who came up with the name Justin Carr wants world peace. As parents, we do two different things. Moms are different than dads, and we raise our kids with the same intent of giving them good tools, good character traits, courage and commitment, sense of community, how to resolve conflicts. All these things are kind of like the seeds of peace. And we felt good about that at Justin's funeral. I was just looking at it today. The playbill was from Hairspray. And turned it into a playbill, like the theater, with his whole bio and the cast and all this stuff he did theatrically and awards he got and curtain call, final curtain call. And I just set it up that way. And a lot of people came up and they said, we're glad you let Justin, I said, be who he was, because everybody's trying to, this rat race, they want kids to be a certain way. And, Justin said to me once, he said, Mom, it's hard being me, I'm 6'3", and I don't play basketball or football, I'm a swimmer, and I love the visual and performing arts. So when he was little, everything that he liked, his interests, weren't typical of a black kid, and we just let him be. So he thrived in the arts, in school, singing, creative, everything, building, theater. He knew every set and who moved the set. He either was going to be an architect or a technical theater designer. Darrel gave him the tools of what it's like to be a black man growing up, when you think the world should be at your fingertips and everybody doesn't always treat you right.
Well, that was the reason I asked him to bless the table, because honestly, I looked at him and said, I'm raising this little black boy in this crazy world. I'd have to give him everything I have. And so I said, I'm going to start with applying some pressure. And a 4-year-old just rose to the occasion and just blew me out of the water with his answer.
So yeah, he said, mother's love, as I said, he came through me. I remember that day he was born, and we just thought, we have all these hopes and dreams. So people think like, when he died, they said crazy stuff like, well, he did so much in 16 years, he really packed it all in. Can you have another? Or you'll be better in a year? Or did he drown? Or all this crazy stuff that we had to deal with.
Aren't you better yet?
Aren't you better yet? After a year later, I went to the church. I shut out everything. I just shut out everything we like to do. I couldn't shop, couldn't cook for 3 years, and everything. And people said stupid stuff, so I had to make choices of who to bring in our life and who to not open the door for.
Boundaries. Wow.
And that was really important. So it's hard because here we are today, 12 years later, we didn't know what we were going to do, and still everybody remembers the day, like the day John F. Kennedy got shot or Martin Luther King. It's like Justin Carr. And
Yeah.
that's what we are here today.
Do you feel like you're ever prepared after suffering through these heartquakes, or do you?
No, you're not. But Susan's dad used to always say, I never go through a day where I don't expect the unexpected. That way, nothing catches me off guard. And as a kid, my dad told me someday and one day you're going to have to do some very difficult things in life. And when that happens, you're just going to have to put one foot in front of the other one to keep moving. And that's what we're doing right now. Sometimes I just wonder, where am I going? But we have a village of some beautiful people that surround us, and we certainly appreciate every last one of them that have come forth and said and has done some beautiful things for us. Made it a little easier. Made it a little easier.
I think what's so interesting and important is that Justin suffered sudden cardiac arrest.
Right.
And there's a difference between a heart attack and sudden cardiac arrest. And you are making such a difference in the community as well. Can you tell me more about the screenings?
Yeah, we're part of the Parent Heart Watch, an organization that's been around for, 15, 20 years or more, for a collective group of parents who lost their kids or their kids were survivors through sudden cardiac arrest. The difference between a heart attack and sudden cardiac arrest: heart attack's plumbing. There's an issue, there's a clog, there's something in your system. The sudden cardiac arrest is electrical. Something went off, like plugs comes out the wall. You need that power for the current, whatever. So that's the difference. But we don't know, and sometimes the first symptom can be death.
Right.
And so now we are aware, and we try to tell people. So we have free heart screenings for people. We have our foundation, the Justin Carr One's World Peace.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So that's what it
And
is.
if people want to get involved and reach out to you, how do they?
They can go to our website,
Okay.
the JustinCarOne'sWorldPeace.org.
So now I have another question. This might be a difficult question. Did Justin have any symptoms?
Well, now when I think back, but I took him to the doctor for everything. I mean, one time he was out of breath. They said, oh, that's exercise induced, He had a headache. Once I took him to the doctor, she said, oh, that's give him this concoction of a Coca-Cola and something else. So now we know when people, because a lot of people have come to us with heart, you have to get your kid a EKG or echocardiogram, was the one that's the picture of your heart.
Right.
Get it every few years. Last year at the heart screening we did, this last person, we'd already closed up shop. And the woman says, can we go down? I go, sure, go get your daughter tested. She was the worst one. And then when that happened, the mother called and she goes, who's reading your screens? Who's reading the tests? I said, a cardiologist. And then I said, your knowledge is your power.
Right.
I said, had we
So she
known.
didn't trust it.
Didn't trust it.
Wow.
And at first, so if we would have known and the doctor would have done an echo on Justin, he'd be still
We
here.
would have known.
We would have known. So use all those resources. And these were free resources we're giving people.
And there's a medication out there.
Yeah, that people can live with
That's
it.
new, right?
Well, I've met a lot of people who have cardiomyopathy, and they're living with it.
Yeah.
We change some portions of your life, but they're living with it.
Yes.
So that's it. We give information. Some people don't want it.
Yeah.
And everybody's not DeMar Hamlin or LeBron James's son, Bronny, where you have instant resources that are there, 27 people trying to save you.
Right.
Because things happen when sometimes there's no one around.
Most patients find out when they're younger they have cardiomyopathy because they suffer sudden cardiac arrest, like Justin. And so people need to understand how to do CPR, right? Understand about AEDs and screening.
I think that heart screening should be a part of every physical examination, especially for athletes or anybody that's going in for a physical exam. Do that. I don't ever remember getting that growing up.
Right.
And now that we have the knowledge that we have, we grow, as we grow older and wiser, we find things that we should be doing more of. And I think heart screening is one of those areas that we need to do more of. And that's what we're trying to do with our foundation.
Right.
But even so, that we have so many friends now that have lost their kids. Some were skateboarding, sleeping, riding the bus to school,
Eating cereal.
cheerleading, opening Christmas gifts. So it's not like you have to be active. And a lot died in their sleep.
Yeah.
So just the awareness and what to do. And like you said, bystander CPR, using the AED, all that stuff is helpful. We didn't know before. Had no clue.
12 years later, it's still raw and painful. What about someone watching this, though, who just recently has suffered the loss of a child?
You know, own your feelings. Grief is a natural response to a change of your familiar. It's all your hopes and dreams are gone, they're out the window. And there's no timeline or method. So if you have a flat tire, and when people say time will heal, are you going to sit in a chair and see if that tire will inflate again? It's not. So own your feelings and take care of yourself. And we don't have to put on any imposter syndrome for people to think, okay, when we go to the store, what do people say? How are you? What do you say? Fine. I don't do that anymore.
Good. You're open.
You're
and
open.
raw.
Mm-hmm.
Now, heartquake is that word that I coined for trauma of the heart. And I'm just curious, you've suffered through so much heartquake. What do you think when you think of the word heartquake?
Earthquake. What zone are we in? The 4th zone of the worst earthquake zone in the country, or what level, magnitude? There are different levels of earthquakes, but the way earthquakes work, they're not like they triple or double or quadruple in every little point. You know, so there's different levels of earthquake that can all make a problem, make an issue. Stuff will still fall down. Stuff will break.
This is severity of it all. You know, earthquakes are so unpredictable. Don't know when they're going to strike. And heartquake kind of, for me, resembles the same thing. It could be any moment for any of us, at any time, anywhere. And for a lot of cases, for some unknown reason, what happened? Was I stressed out, or had I been eating okay? Had I been exercising? We just don't know.
Do you think there's any way to prepare for heartquake?
No.
Nah.
You don't. Sometimes there's symptoms, but sometimes we overlook them. Like we know that we shouldn't go down the street because they're doing construction, but we still go down there anyway. What happened? You either can't go through, you turn around, come back. It's a dead end. Sometimes literally dead end.
Well, people have different priorities.
Mm-hmm.
Some people may think being at that dinner with those certain group of people is more important than anything else. And they'll force themselves into a moment when maybe they should be at home relaxing. Maybe we're not listening to our body and our mind the way we should be. I don't know. I can't speak for anybody else, but I think, as Susan said, being truthful.
Self-care.
Thanks for watching Heartquake Media. Make sure you check out our website and social media for more information on heart-healthy living. And remember, wellness starts with the heart.